You're watching Miami Dolphins Today, presented by Chat Sports. I am RC Maxfield, and the best time of the year for football fans has officially begun. Training camp, it starts today for your Miami Dolphins. And X-Man, he reported to camp. Xavien Howard did report to camp for the Dolphins today. He reported on time. Didn't want to get any of those $50,000 a day fines. He previously held out of minicamp, but he does still want a new contract from the Dolphins. And now, when you look at what Xavien Howard has done in the past in terms of his production, we'll look at that in just a second, it's been extraordinary. And of course he would want a new contract, but Brian Flores had this to say about the situation pertaining to X. We're excited to work with X and all players that are here. Those conversations, his representations with Chris, myself, those, like always, are going to be internal, confidential, and we'll keep it that way for all players. We're excited to have him, and I'm excited to work with him. He's a great player. Looking at Howard's contract and what is left right now, it's no wonder he really does want a new contract. You look at that guaranteed money left. It's only this season. If you're a star corner, you're going to want more guaranteed money. He does have 4 years left, and the signing bonuses left is $4.2 million, but that guaranteed money is what to look at when it comes to star players in the NFL. He wants more, and it's over after this year in terms of guaranteed money for X. Looking at the highest paid corners in the NFL right now, you see a teammate on there, Byron Jones, but Jalen Ramsey leads the way with $20 million per year. You got Tre'Davious White, you got Darius Slay, and obviously Marlon Humphrey up for the Ravens. Looking at the next five, that's where the X-Man comes in right there. It's Xavien Howard right there at the sixth spot, right ahead of James Bradbury up in New York. And you know what? It makes kind of sense after the year he had. And again, we will get to those stats in just a minute on what he wants in terms of a contract. If you look at the sheer production, he's going to want to be in that top five, and rightfully so. But real quick, let's look at the Dolphins' QB depth chart. And you notice two of the top six paid corners in the league, Xavien Howard, Byron Jones, and then you have the Auburn first-round pick as well right there. That's probably going to play a lot of nickel and maybe on the outside as well, but was one of the best nickel corners in the draft last year. But you have Coleman. You have to like what you have in that secondary, specifically at the cornerback position if you are a Dolphins fan right now. We will transition over to Howard's career, and there was an ascension as last year he put up an historic type season for the Dolphins. 51 tackles and 10 interceptions to lead the NFL right there. Absolutely phenomenal type stuff. The Baylor product has elevated his play every year. You look at 2019, wasn't his best work, did have to fight through some injuries a little bit, but he has been absolutely dynamite in his time down on South Beach. So vote now for us. Is this Xavien Howard drama over? Type Y for yes, N for no. Oh man, this is, for me, I'm going to say no. He deserves to be paid like a top five corner. It was great to have him back in camp. It's always good to have your players report on time. You heard about the Houston Texans and having Deshaun Watson report to camp on time. But the real thing is that $50,000 a day fine. No player is going to want to pay that. That's really what this comes down to. That is why Xavien Howard reported to camp today on time. He just didn't want to have to accrue those $50,000 fines every day. And to me, this isn't over at all. He wants to get a new contract, but he wants to stay in Miami, right? He's one of the best corners in the game. You're going to have to pay him after that contract that he has right now in terms of the guaranteed money. It just isn't enough, and he needs a little bit more money. At least his side thinks so. And looking at the stats, I tend to agree. Now, subscribe today. You want more Miami Dolphins videos? This is the place for it right here on Chat Sports. The more subs we get, the more videos we make. You want me in the studio a little bit more talking about your Miami Dolphins? Well, it's all about subs here. There's a reason you see Tom and Mitchell all the time over Chat Sports. They've got the most subs. Let's change that a little bit. I need some more studio time. Let the new guy in a little bit. So be sure to subscribe. You get more videos, and plus, it's 100% free. Some more training camp news as everybody reported today for the Miami Dolphins. Preston Williams will start camp on the PUP list. Now, this isn't the one where he has to miss 6 weeks going into the season. This is whenever he's healthy, he can come off of it. Now, he will begin training camp on this list, but he did, he missed part of last season. due to a foot injury. And it's concerning a little bit. When you look at his injury past, he hasn't been able to play a full season out of Colorado State. He's played in 8 games and started 7 in both of his seasons down on South Beach. Now, the reason this is concerning is when Preston Williams has played, you've seen some of those flashes, right? Not on a consistent basis, but he will be competing for a wide receiver job. You look at the stats last year for the 3-year veteran now out of Colorado State. He had 35 targets, 18 catches, 288 yards, and 4 TDs in 2020. Remember, that was only in 8 games, which he started 7, opposite of Devontae Parker. Now, if you look into the Dolphins, wide receiver depth chart moving into this season, it has been 100% revamped. They spent draft capital as well as free agent dollars in Will Fuller. Now, he will miss the first game of the year due to his PED suspension last year that he got 6 games for, missed 5 with the Texans. Now he'll have to miss 1 with the Dolphins. And obviously Jalen Waddle being picked in the top 10 has vastly changed this wide receiver depth chart. And that being said, what do you think? Will Williams even be on the roster in week 1? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. It's going to be interesting with all of those injuries that he does have in his past. Again, he's never played a complete season. It's going to be interesting to see throughout training camp. Speaking of week 1, the odds are out for the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots up in Foxborough, and well, not the good guys are favored in this one, as the Miami Dolphins will head up to Foxborough as 3-point dogs right now with the over-under at 45 points. The betting odds are plus 120 for the Dolphins. So what that means is if you risk $20, you can win 24. And of course you're going to bet on the Dolphins, and the place to do that, well, it's BetUS right here. And you want to help us out a little bit over here at Chat Sports? Use the promo code Dolphins125 and you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. What does that mean? If you deposit $100, you get $125 back to use on the site, and that site that you need to go to is chatsports.com/bet. Final rookie has signed, the starting right tackle for the Miami Dolphins, at least on paper right now, which we will show you the depth chart. He was one of the best offensive lines in college football at Notre Dame. Again, he will likely be the starting right tackle, and that is Liam Eichenberg. And Liam Eichenberg has been phenomenal. He's played with great talent, as I mentioned, at Notre Dame, but he is the final rookie to sign with the Dolphins in the 2021 class. We transition over to the Dolphins starting O-line right now, and a lot of youth right there. You notice that the tackle positions, those are first and second year players respectively in Jackson and Eichenberg. You have solid guys up the middle right there. That's the kind of line you want to put together when you have a star franchise-type quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa behind him and trying to take that next step for the Dolphins this year, which we know the talent is there, but do the pieces come together and they take that next step? Because patience, that's no longer an option, it seems like, down on South Beach. So predict it. Who will be the best rookie this year for the Dolphins? I think Jalen Waddle is probably the easy answer and the most exciting answer, but I think in terms of importance, it's probably Liam. You get a right tackle, you put him over there to protect your franchise quarterback, who we'll talk about in just a second. That is pivotal now that you have a second-year player in Jackson on the left side and now Eichenberg on the right side. Speaking of Tua, he's showing up to camp healthy for the first time in his NFL career. Now, the Dolphins went out and they improved that offense drastically. Remember, we talked about it. They improved that wide receiver core with Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle. You can go back yesterday and listen to what we had to say about them. But the pressure is on this year when it comes to Tua, right? You hear about all these quarterbacks in terms of franchise guys that could be traded, whether that's Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. I think Tua is that guy potentially, but you have to give him a shot. But it's now or never. It is now or never from the left-hander from Alabama. This is the time to prove yourself. You have never had better weapons, you've never had better health, and you've never had a better offensive line in front of you in terms to produce. And again, those days where it's a lot of potential are now gone for Miami. You have to make that jump, and it all starts at the QB position with Tua. That's going to do it for today's Miami Dolphins today here on Chat Sports. Be sure to subscribe down below. That is youtube.com/Dolphins News. I'm RC Maxfield, and we'll catch y'all next time here on Miami Dolphins Today.